In this lesson, we will learn how to create animations on a web page using jQuery. So you can use the Animate method to create animations. With that, we will also see some examples to understand the concept. Let's start. So we will perform animations using the jQuery Animate method. Also, to move an element, we'll be using the position property. For understanding the concept, what we will do, we will see two examples. In the first example, what we will do, we will animate a div with animate method and we will just move it to the right using the left property to just give a simple example. Okay, but what about setting multiple properties while animating? Let's say you want to animate a div and you want to show that the font size decreased after animation, the height width also decreased. So for that, we will see the second example. In this, we will use the same animate method, but we will also use multiple properties within the animate method to change the height of the div, width as well as the font size. So guys, let us start with the first example. So guys, first we will see how to animate a div. We will use the same animate method. We will animate a div element and move it to the right. To move it, we will use the left property and set its value. This will allow us to animate the div on the right. Let us see the example. So here we have our VS Code. We created the following project folder on the desktop and these are our files. Let me create a new file for this project. Right click new file, index14.html. Now let us take the sample code from here. Okay, I'll just copy and paste. So we added jQuery using the jQuery CDN and this is our jQuery code and the following elements under the body tag. So we have only a single element right now. Let me add a button so that animation can be performed on the click of this button. Animate. Okay. Let me add a text. Okay, so when we will click this button, the following div will animate. This box will get animated. So we added the sample text also. Now comes the part for our jQuery. Okay, so I told you we will perform on the click of a button. So we will set the click event for the button. That means $button dot click function so we wanted to animate div, therefore div dot animate. Okay, and within this we will set the property. I told you we will move it to the right, so left, let me set it to 300 px. Okay, this looks fine. Like this, the syntax. Okay, we did the flaw here. This should be $. That's it. We have set it now, but we need to also style the div. For that, under the head, we'll be setting the style element and we will style a div. Let me begin with the position. Let's say I'll set it to absolute. This will position our div. This will be our background color. Also set the border. We have set 2px solid style for blue border, blue color. And here comes the height and width for our div. You can set any height or width. Error because we missed a colon. Let me set the color to white. This is the text color, and the text is aligned to the center. Font size is set to 25px. So this is our font for the div. That's it, nothing else. The animation will be performed using this. Okay. File, save all. Right click, open in default browser. Okay, here it is. Now when I'll click on animate, this box will animate on the right because we have set the left property. Here it is. Okay. Let's say I'll refresh it. Again, I'll click on animate and it will move to the right by 300px because we have set the left property under the animate method. Okay, I'll just change this, correct this typo. Above button to animate the below box. Right click, open. Okay, we can close this. I'll animate again and it's fine. So guys, we saw how we can animate a div using the animate method. Now let us move to the next example. Here what we will do, we will use the same animate method and animate a div. We will also update the properties. Let's say we will update multiple properties. We will change the height and width. With that we will also change the font size. Okay, when the div will get animated. For that we will set the property like we set the left property to move on the right. There itself we will set multiple properties. For font size we need to write in camel case, so we will be writing like this, unlike what we do in CSS. With that we will also update the height and width. So let us see the example. Let us create a new file. Right click, new file, index15.html for our example. Here it is. Let me copy this. Okay, so this was our previous example. We have used the left property. Okay, now what we can do, keep rest of the code as it is. We can do some changes here. Since we will set multiple properties, I'll just set multiple properties. Okay, I told you what we will do. We will change the height, width and font size. Right now we are having 300px here. Let me change it to 200px. And now what about the other properties? So I should display it in the following way so that it's easier for you to understand. First it was left, that means moving the div to the right by 200px. Then comes height, 100px. It is 200px right now. After the animation it will change to 100px. Now comes width. This is not required, semicolon. Width, let's say 100px again. So this is somewhat different than CSS styles. And the font size, so you can see we will set the font size like this, not like this as we have seen in our CSS. Font size, let me set it to 15px. That's it. And in the end mention like this. That's it. It's correct. So the font size will change to 15px from 25px after the animation. That's it. Looks fine. No error. File, save all. Right click, open in default browser. Now you can see when I'll click animate, what will happen? The height, width and font size will change. With that, it will move to the right by 200 px. You can see. Okay, I'll do it again, refresh. Let me click on it. Herein, the height, width of the box as well as the font size changed. So we can achieve this by using the animate method only and by setting multiple properties here. So guys, we saw how we can easily create animations. We have set a single property first and animated a div. After that, we also saw how to animate a div by setting multiple properties. Thank you for watching the video.